the warship no one took seriously. Until it annihilated an Armada, the ship was a joke. That's what the galaxy called it. The HSS Resolute, humanity's so-called contribution to interstellar peacekeeping, was a rust bucket by any standard. Its hull looked patched together with scrap metal. Its engines whined like an old atmospheric freighter, and its weaponry, what little could be seen externally, was laughably outdated. In every port, station, and comms channel, the Resolute was a butt of the joke. Even among Earth's allies, quiet chuckles followed whenever her name was mentioned. But no one laughed harder than the Zorath Dominion. The Zorath were an empire of predators, scaled, towering creatures with rows of teeth like serrated daggers and military fleets that could blockade entire sectors overnight. Their latest conquest was already underway, sweeping through the neighboring Arcani's confederacy like wildfire. When Earth's representatives demanded they cease their aggression, the Zorath nearly ruptured their vocal sacs from laughing. Humanity, still the new kids on the galactic scene, sent a single warship to enforce their demands. And not just any warship, the Resolute. The galaxy called it suicide. The Zorath called it sport. Commander Eli Mercer stood alone on the dimly lit bridge of the Resolute, watching the sea of stars stretch beyond the viewport. His crew, barely 100 souls, worked diligently, but even among them, tension rippled. They'd heard the jokes. They'd seen the sensor readings. 18 Zorath warships, fully armed, battle-ready, waiting for them at the edge of the Arcani system. The Resolute was outgunned, outnumbered, and by all accounts, hopelessly obsolete. But Eli wasn't smiling for nothing. The comms crackled to life. This is Warlord Krezek of the Zorath Dominion. Human vessel, power down your engines and surrender. We will permit you to evacuate before we dismantle your ship molecule by molecule. Eli leaned forward, his voice steady. This is Commander Mercer of the HSS Resolute. Last chance, Zorath. Withdraw from Arcani space or face the consequences. Laughter erupted over the comms. Deep, guttural, mocking. Consequences? From that rusted tin can? Your species continues to amuse us. Eli cut the transmission and glanced at his weapons officer, Lieutenant Zara Voss. She nodded grimly. They'd waited long enough. From the outside, the Resolute began powering up. Its ancient reactor hummed with a low growl. Scanners aboard the Zorath fleet registered modest energy spikes. Nothing alarming. The Dominion ships didn't even bother raising full shields. They prepared to record what would undoubtedly be the easiest victory in their long, bloody history. But the Resolute wasn't what it appeared to be. Decades prior, when humanity finally cracked the secrets of faster-than-light travel and joined the wider galactic community, they learned a painful truth. The galaxy underestimated them, not because humans were weak, but because they hid their teeth. Earth knew how to play the long game. While the galaxy flexed its flashy cruisers and gleaming battleships, Earth quietly built monsters disguised as relics. The Resolute was the prototype, a wolf wrapped in the skin of a sheep. Eli gave the order. All systems unleash. The ship shuddered as layers of old hull plating slid aside, revealing a skeleton of dark, angular alloy, adaptive composite armor, resistant to energy and kinetic weapons alike. Hidden weapon ports open along the ship's flanks, exposing rail cannons, plasma lances, and fusion-tipped missile racks far beyond what any scanner had detected. The aged engines pulsed as secondary thrusters ignited, and the ship's mass shifted as artificial gravity wells stabilized its frame for high-speed maneuvers. In the Zorath fleet, alarm bells screamed. Ships scrambled to power shields, weapons locked onto the Resolute. But they were already too late. The first salvo came without warning. Hyper-accelerated kinetic rounds tore through the closest Dominion frigate, rupturing its hull in 3 places before its shields could even hum to life. The vessel split apart, atmosphere venting, fires consuming its bridge as its remains spiraled into the void. Before the Zorath could process the loss, the Resolute vanished, slipping into short-range microjump drives. It reappeared behind a cruiser, unleashing a concentrated burst from its plasma lances. Superheated energy carved through the larger ship's engines and reactor core, triggering a chain reaction that turned the warship into a brief, blinding sun. On the Dominion flagship, Warlord Krezik's amusement curdled into confusion, then rage. Fools! They have cloaking technology. Adapt. Target their signature trails. Fire on all projections. But there were no projections. The Resolute wasn't using cloaking fields or holograms. It was simply fast. Faster than anything they'd ever seen. Its outdated engines were a facade. Its true propulsion system, a hybrid human innovation blending gravitational manipulation and quantum displacement, allowed it to dart across space like a phantom, leaving only wreckage in its wake. Another 2 Zorath ships fell, their hulls ruptured by hypersonic torpedoes. Then 3 more, their systems fried by concentrated electromagnetic pulses delivered from the Resolute's secondary array. Panic rippled through the Armada. Comms filled with screams, orders, fragmented status reports. The Dominion fleet, confident and smug minutes ago, now floundered like prey caught unaware. Krezik slammed his fist into his command console. This isn't possible. It's one ship. But the Resolute was more than one ship. It was humanity's answer to centuries of galactic arrogance. Every weakness the Zorath flaunted, every blind spot in their doctrine, every moment they dismissed the primitive humans had been calculated into the Resolute's design. On the bridge, Eli watched the chaos unfold. His crew moved with mechanical precision, each strike coordinated, each evasive maneuver pre-planned. Years of simulations, drills, and contingency training led to this moment. The Dominion fleet was crumbling. A dozen Dominion ships remained. They regrouped, forming a defensive phalanx around the flagship. But it wouldn't matter. The Resolute accelerated, engines roaring like a storm unleashed. Its rail cannons fired 6 simultaneous kinetic slugs, each traveling at a significant fraction of light speed. Shields collapsed, armor buckled, the formation shattered. Within minutes, only Krezik's flagship remained, limping, shields failing, weapon systems crippled. The Resolute hovered before it and scathed,